Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Oh, come on. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. That's better. I want to welcome everyone to the 2024 State of the University Address. I'm Todd Haymore. I am Rector of VCU's Board of Visitors, and I'm pleased to welcome the many members of our VCU community who are joining us here in Cabell Library this morning, as well as those who are tuning in via live stream. I would also like to welcome fellow members of the VCU Health System Board of Directors and the VCU Board of Visitors who are with us this morning. From the Board of Health, I want to recognize Dr. Him Bourgeois and Faye Manolius. Thank you all for being here this morning and your contributions to the health system. From the Board of Visitors, I want to recognize Dr. Tanya Paris-Wilkins, Reverend Tyrone Nelson, and former Rector Ben Dendy. Thank you all for your leadership and contributions to the organization as well. The annual State of the University Address serves as a unifying gathering, bringing together members of our community to reflect on our collective journey and to celebrate our achievements. As Rector of the Board of Visitors, participating in events like this bring me immense pride. Witnessing the tangible impact of our initiatives on the lives of our students and so many others throughout the organization is truly encouraging. These moments of recognition and reflection inspire us to continue striving for excellence in all of our endeavors. I know I speak for my fellow board members when I say we are incredibly proud of our role at VCU, providing governance oversight to support the success of VCU's mission and President Rao's leadership. This year marks President Rao's 15th year at VCU, and his tenure truly demonstrates the enormous positive impact a president can have on an institution over time. For example, under President Rao's leadership, VCU has raised graduation rates, greatly increased financial aid, raised patient satisfaction, nearly doubled sponsored research funding, and brought to Richmond a comprehensive children's hospital and a comprehensive cancer center. These accomplishments across President Rao's tenure should be recognized and celebrated because they reflect so well on this outstanding organization. Indeed, President Rao has led VCU to become a powerhouse research university and health system with a focus on both access and excellence that you just don't find everywhere. And without question, VCU and VCU Health are modeling the future of a truly public research university and health system by putting the changing needs of students and patients first, with a focus on accessibility, excellence, and impact. And with that, it is my great honor and privilege to welcome Dr. Michael Rao, President of Virginia Commonwealth University, to deliver the 2024 State of the University Address. Mike.
Thank you very much. Rector Haymore, thank you very much. That was more than generous, and I'm very grateful to see all of you here. Very grateful for this time that we have together once a year. I particularly want to follow on something you said. You recognize members of the Board of Visitors and the Board of Directors of the health system. Thank you all, not only for being here, but for all of the ways in which you are so supportive of this institution. And you're also very generous, and we're very grateful for that. And that models the generosity that so many of our donors also follow. So where can I begin? I'll begin with where Todd started as well, and that is with huge gratitude for all of the things that have been accomplished at this institution. And really what that means is I'm expressing gratitude to all of you. Congratulations. You have just finished the very best year of Virginia Commonwealth University in its history on so many fronts. A university can really only get done what you got done in 2023 because of the work and dedication of all of our faculty members, our staff members, students, and certainly our supporters in our communities. Just think about what Todd talked about. Record-breaking freshman enrollment, one of the highest retention rates we've ever had of freshmen and sophomores, by the way. research funding, fundraising, the comprehensive cancer center status, a new population health school that we've just opened, world-class facilities. And really, I could go on and on and on, and I have been at many of these previous meetings, but these are just some of the things that you have gotten done at this institution. So I've got to start out, and I'm going to continue through most of this, and say thank you. You deserve a gigantic thank you for what you have accomplished and made this institution. You've worked together to make this the very best model of a public research university that is imaginable anywhere. You're the future. Our mission drives the research that enhances and lifts people's lives. It addresses the toughest, hardest problems and diseases. It creates innovative solutions and experiences that truly lift all human lives in all of our communities. I'm saying all loudly because it's such an inclusive community, and I'm so proud of that. Listen, things are changing really fast out there. In VCU, you should be proud of this. You're adapting just as quickly to prepare our students to lead in their generation. VCU impacts our region in so many ways, but it also impacts the Commonwealth. It's an essential and driving force in Richmond's economics, but it's also a driving force in Virginia's economy, statewide. At this point, it's at least $10 billion in annual impact on Virginia. We create 58,000 jobs, and 68% of our graduates stay right here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. And they make their own contributions to our economy and to so many of our communities. These are community-lifting people. You've established record momentum and authentic ways for a university that is truly public. Todd said truly public because there are lots of research universities out there, but this is a truly public university, and you have authenticated that. So all these great things have happened in 2023. Even better things will happen in 2024. So the question for us today and onward is, how do we maintain this great momentum that we have achieved? How can we strengthen our drive to serve the public good? And how can we at VCU continue to be a model for connecting with a changing society, moving just as fast as society moves, or better yet, getting ahead of that pace? At VCU, our inspiration comes from change, and it comes from feedback about what our students, our patients, and society need. Together, we're designing the model public research university for the next 10, 20, 30 years and beyond. So the question, I guess, for a lot of us is, what does that look like? How do we, as a public university, bridge these gaps that we know are out there? There are gaps between problems and solutions. There are gaps between diseases and cures, diseases that kill people and human lives. Yeah, I hope that grips you. And there are gaps between the educational world and the professional world. We can't deny it. We hear it all the time. Listen, I see us as a talent activator. We're committed to enabling students and every human being in Virginia to achieve their full potential. We're evolving and we're adapting how we produce and share knowledge and learning so that we can serve our communities. We're extending lives and we're modeling the very best care that people can get right here at VCU in our health system. And we're also leveraging the brilliance and the discovery of this incredible faculty and staff and our students so that we can position Virginia, but also the United States. We've got to look bigger at this. We've got to position the nation as well as our state for economic competitiveness and the prosperity of every life we can touch. So many of you remember Kofi Annan, the former Secretary General of the United Nations, and there was something he said that really touched me, and I wanted to share it with you. He said, "Knowledge is power, information is liberating, education is the premise of progress in every society and in every family." So that's what he said. I pledge to leverage this presidency to build on your great accomplishments at VCU, and I respectfully ask us all to consider, what can we each do to help move VCU forward? Our students absolutely get that VCU's public mission matters. So we asked a couple of students, or more than a couple, why is that important to them? So let's just take a minute in a video to listen to what they had to say.
I think the purpose of a public university is to serve everyone and to the best of their ability.
It really exposes you and gives you like a nice opportunity to just grow and see new things and know what's happening and being aware.
The biggest advantage is accessibility to a lot of things while you're here, but also post-graduation, not only with careers, but also general connections.
I also think of the other students that I met that are like myself, neurodivergent, lots of diversity, and that strong sense of community coming together to teach each other things.
Being able to wind up at a place where you can still learn as much as anybody else, regardless of how much money you have, is really important, now more than ever.
So what you're hearing is you've done an incredible job of connecting with people's needs and changing with those needs. So at VCU, we're really proud of the fact that we measure excellence as a public research university by inclusion, not by exclusion. We work to bring students in, not keep them out. The result is that we have a really talented student body that absolutely reflects the diversity of our population, where more than 36% of our freshmen now are first generation from last fall. They're the first generation in their families to go to college. And keep in mind that more than a third are high need. We're proud of that. We're absolutely a community-engaged university, and I'm really proud that we received again the Higher Education Excellence and Diversity Award from the Insight in Diversity magazine. This is 5 years in a row now, but it really speaks to our inclusivity and it speaks to our community engagement. So I want to say thank you, and I want to warmly welcome our newest Vice President, Faye Belgrave. Faye, welcome. Thank you for stepping in to the role of Chief Diversity Officer. So as for me, I'll work to make VCU even more inclusive, welcoming all of the ways in which human beings, in which people enrich us as a community with their differences, making clear that at VCU, we embrace every person for whoever they are. So I ask us as a community at VCU, how can we each reinforce these core human values at this institution? Because ultimately, it's always a reflection of what we all do and what we all say and how we all behave. I ask you for that. To expand our reach, we launched something that you've heard of called the Guaranteed Admissions Program at VCU. If you're a high school student and you're anywhere, not just in Virginia, with high academic credentials, you're in. VCU is automatically your home. So awareness of VCU just continues to grow, and it grows exponentially. In fact, we've already surpassed what was our final record-setting freshman application count from last year. And applications continue to come in. I see Vishan in the back smiling as I said that because he's a big part of that. Thanks to the creativity and thoughtfulness of Vice President Hernan Buccelli and the admissions team, and Vice President Grant Heston and the marketing and communications team, we've been able to do all of this. So thank you to all of you. And as for me, I will expand further our work to recruit our students, including international students from partners around the world, and our many talented local students. We have so much talent in this Commonwealth, so much talent in this city, in so many of our communities. And I know I can count on every member of our community to help us recruit, because everyone plays a role in recruiting students, in deciding who comes here. We all are a reflection of our ultimate reputation. At VCU, we support student success. One example I wanted to share with you was our student athletes. They now have a collective GPA from last fall of nearly 3.5. That's the highest we've ever seen. And yeah, it's worth celebrating. And our Director of Athletics, Ed McLaughlin, and his team have done a great job of making sure that our student athletes put students in studying first, and I'm really proud of that. And just look at that GPA and look at what's happening, for instance, with our women's basketball team that's really on the road to tremendous success, the best season that I've ever seen. So proud of them. I'm looking forward to seeing them very soon, by the way. So in fact, thanks to our faculty's and our staff's work to support our students and help them get to timely graduation, you might have noticed that U.S. News & World Report recognized VCU last year as one of the top 20 most innovative public universities in the country. And remember, that was a 10-point jump in just a year. So as we move forward, I want to come back to where I sort of started, and that is with some questions. I want you to think about, how should the greatest universities be measured in the future, tomorrow? So just think about how much society has changed and the views of our people have changed everywhere. What will we do as a faculty and as a staff to adapt to these changes? Our students face a changing world, a rapidly changing world. And so think about things like artificial intelligence and automation. These are things that are really interesting and in many ways could bring some opportunities to us, but they're making it challenging to predict what students will need in the future. What we do know is that we've got to prepare our students to live and work in a world that will have AI. So as a university, we already teach students critical thinking and ethics and entrepreneurship, compassion, empathy. These are things that machines just can't replicate. So how do we prepare students for a world where AI might just automate more and more of the jobs that we see people in today? I'm not advocating for that. I'm not speaking against it. I'm just telling you it's happening. How do we integrate AI into our programs where it might make sense, acknowledging the transformative role that it might have, but also acknowledging the limits that come with this, the challenges that will come with this, the issues that we'll need to navigate around this? I'm here to tell you, because I know you, VCU students will be ready for whatever emerges in their lives and careers, because you're creating that foundation for them. As we move forward, we'll build deeper connections between our faculty experts and the people in their professions that our students will ultimately enter into, and that connection between our faculty and our communities, our staff and our communities. You know, to truly have the impact that we've got to have as a public institution, all of our work in the classroom, in the labs, in the studios, or clinics, wherever our students are studying, wherever we're doing our work, it's got to lift up, and it will lift up the people around us. That's exactly what you have succeeded in doing. As for me, I will leverage this presidency to increase our focus on artificial intelligence including how it can help us better serve students and patients. And I'll connect with our peers in as many sectors as I possibly can, seeking opportunities in particular, this is what I will do, for internships for our students, for job placements for our students, and for partnerships that will help us identify problem-solving opportunities. We can do this. VCU has had a really long commitment to ensuring that every student has an experience that will help them prepare for their careers in the world, their interactions with people, the ways in which they help people, the ways in which they help communities. We're going to provide pathways for students to reinforce what they learn by putting it into practice outside of the classroom where they can use what they have studied in our courses, giving them a context in which what we are teaching them makes sense and they know why they're learning what they're learning. Everybody's not where we are in our lives. We've got to position ourselves to think about where they are. A lot of students who come in, they question, why am I learning this? Why am I being tested on this? We need to give them a context in which they understand why. Why does it matter? In doing things outside of the classroom, I'm finding helps. In the next couple of years, I ask us to build on into every one of our degrees and programs, those professional experiences outside of the classrooms or laboratories or even our practice clinics, our studios. Let's find those opportunities for our students. These will be accessible and relevant to what they're learning. We'll also develop connections with our employers and other partners, and I'll help with that. We've got to find ways to benefit from the experiences of our partners out there, our professions, our partners in the professions, so that we can benefit from their experiences and how rapidly things are changing. I see advisory roles for all of our partners out there to help influence where we take VCU in the future. Together, we can imagine and innovate experiences for students that will motivate them to learn and to get ready for work and their lives and the ways in which they touch other people's lives with their lives. Remind us all the time, it's not very many people in the world who end up getting a college degree. These become the leaders and influencers. And they are there to lift other people's lives. There's nothing more satisfying that people can get than lifting other people's lives. And let me be clear, students should absolutely be able to pursue their interests, no matter what language you hear me using. They've got to be able to pursue their interests in whatever ways that looks like in a wide range of professions and disciplines. And let me be clear, that includes and must include the arts and the humanities. And I'm saying that because I see more of a need for that than I've ever seen. Our role as a public university is to prepare students for their lives and to get them ready for professional careers and good jobs when they graduate, but also to be the best person that you can be. We all know that the best way to do that is to start by preparing students for their lives and their work early, launching their careers while they're here before they graduate. And that's exactly what happened for one of our students who I'd like to share a story about with you, Christopher Begenda. So Chris is a finance major. Last year he took a class with Katie Beth Lee, who's here with us today. It was designed to prepare students for internships. So they do things like they learn to write a resume, they learn to research the employer and know what they're talking about when they go in for an interview, and then they learn how to apply the right way for an internship. So let's just take a minute and listen to Chris and what he had to say and how this has worked out for him.
We moved to the United States back in 2010 when I was 8. And I've lived there a majority of my life. The big thing that I looked forward was like a new beginning. And I thought VCU had such a diverse culture that would allow me to do that. So I went from economics to an accounting. Now I settled with finance, and I'm really liking finance. I took a class with Dr. Lee, and it was around that time is when I actually applied for my internship. And I was fortunate enough to have her as a helpful resource to get me the internship. I didn't know how to write a cover letter. My resume was a page and a half long. My interview skills were kind of shoddy. Those classes like that really allowed me to first present myself to the firm and make a case for myself. They were more looking for transferable skills like soft skills like hard work, critical thinking, emergency response. And they really helped me understand okay, we know you don't know anything, but we want you to learn as much as you can. So when I got up there, I tried my hardest to be there for my manager as much as I could. I went in there with, I've never done it before, but I'm willing to learn. And I think that's the biggest thing that allowed me to succeed there, especially with my managers, and which ultimately led to me getting a full-time offer. It's very, very difficult for a first year to come in with no internship with that firm. If I did not intern, I would not have gotten a first year. The accessibility of VCU has allowed me to not necessarily take on a lot of financial burden, but at the same time have access to a very high quality education, which has led me to be employed by one of the more prestigious firms in the world in their corporate headquarters. So I'm very grateful for that.
So what Chris did is it's a great story. Go, Chris. Hey, Chris, it's good to see you this morning. And so what Chris did is he brought skills that he had developed to an internship, and then he turned it into a profession. And this is something that can happen in any discipline or field. Chris and Katie Beth, thank you so much, both of you, for being here. Professional experiences, they enhance the skills that we have for when we enter the workplace. And that's really more and more of what I'm hearing employers are looking for. This week I had a meeting on one of the boards I'm on, the Northern Virginia Technology Council, and that's all they talk about is getting people ready for work. These are the things that make such an important measurable impact. So let's take a minute to hear from Dr. Lee as well on the work that she's doing with this internship class and the difference that it's making for students.
Career readiness is a set of skills that help students make the transition from the classroom to the workplace. And they're having practice with their critical thinking skills, their problem-solving skills, their teamwork skills. Many times they're working on real information from a business. The business has an actual problem that they have brought our students, and our students as a group are trying to figure out, how would I solve that? And that's really great preparation for the world of work. If you gave somebody a textbook about learning to be an Olympic skier, and they could read it cover to cover and they could answer any test question, would they be a good Olympic skier? No, because they never strapped the skis on their feet, right? And so the internship helps them take all that stuff that they learned in the class, put the skis on their feet, and actually go down the bunny hill. They might get to try something or work on a project in the workplace that maybe they learned the theory in their class, but now they get to actually apply it in the workplace. They have transferable skills that they can bring along with whatever they've learned in the discipline they're studying in the classroom, and that makes them really attractive to a lot of employers. Students who report having had an internship are 16% more likely to have a job 6 months after graduation. And those jobs on average pay $5,000 more a year. So there are really big implications for lifetime earnings when you start $5,000 ahead. And we've seen a lot more students actually apply and then land awesome opportunities like Chris did.
So, Katie Beth, your analogy of strapping on skis is a really good one, because what we're talking about is a new transformative learning initiative at VCU that really expands and redefines what professional experience starts to look like. Our provost, Fotis Soteropoulos, he refers to it, we just talked about it yesterday in our meeting, as the three-legged stool. So traditional internships would be one part of that, or one leg, like Chris's internship. The second leg is inviting corporate and community partners to bring us problems that they need solved, the way that Katie Beth talked about. Business students are taking theories they've learned in a classroom and they're applying it to real problems in real companies. The third leg that FOTUS talks about involves students in faculty-driven projects. So as part of the curriculum, students would get credit and problem-solving experience in those contexts. And we know that there are some pilots around the university that are taking off and doing very well. So together, these legs engage students, and they talk about teamwork and how to think in terms of complex problems that they'll solve when they are in their careers, which is pretty much right after graduation. And I will tell you, from my own experience in talking with students, most of them just love the idea of being able to use what they're learning when they're learning it. So thinking ahead, this is what a public university that's innovative is really for. Personally, I'm going to invest more of my time with organizations that connect with VCU to partner with our faculty, our staff, to support our students and our graduates, to find ways to connect with them so that we can identify a partnership that helps us to solve problems, to enhance the human experience together. Most companies out there, most organizations out there, they want to work with us. And so I'll ask all of you to think about, in any of your roles, what can we each do to help move forward opportunities with partner organizations? One of the things I know is that a lot of people at all levels at VCU, a lot of you are deeply engaged in volunteer activities, and you're connected to organizations that we should as a university be more connected with. Those are opportunities for our students as well, internships, jobs ultimately. So I thank you for your consideration of support for that. As a faculty, I want to tell you, I think we are leading in designing academic programs around our own vision for the future. We're focused on what the future holds for all fields. The faculty task force that Provost Soteropoulos and his team have put together, they've generated now, about 100 or more ideas? I want to thank you, FOTUS. I also want to thank our faculty for your leadership in identifying these great ideas. Probably won't be able to use all of them, but they will absolutely inform where we head, and it will position us well for the future. You know, I also want to say, as I go back to thinking about where Todd started us off and where I started us off, talking about the great things that have happened, the great momentum that you've created at this institution, a lot of it has to do with the research enterprise that's growing very rapidly. So last year, you broke a record for sponsored research funding and rose even higher in the rankings among public research universities. Most importantly, your research is solving problems that are vexing society. As we look ahead, we'll pursue research that is increasingly focused on people's changing needs, but importantly, we'll be impactful. Now, how do we raise VCU to the highest levels among our category of public research universities? As for me, I'll expand further the work that I do to promote and support your impactful research. That has been a privilege for me. I love getting to know your research. I love being able to understand it in ways that I can explain it to other people and connect it to how it lifts society. I'll also continue to help all of you make those connections, like we do in Washington, D.C., to those who provide funding, to our partners out there who provide funding for our research. And I respectfully ask all of us, what can we each do to really embrace this aspect of our mission to advance the importance of research at this university? Virginia absolutely depends on us, and this is exactly why VCU is one of the 3 universities in Governor Youngkin's proposed Virginia Research Triangle. This is a triangle to advance innovation and collaboration, specifically in biotech, life sciences, and pharmaceutical manufacturing. So no surprise, our part in this research triangle is Medicines for All, which was started by Frank Gupton. Medicines for All was one of the first ventures that we supported right out of my office, and then moved on to a $25 million grant from the Gates Foundation, followed by unusually, another $19 million Gates Foundation grant last year. And what it's done, Medicines for All, is really important. It's created access to essential medicines that are keeping people alive in this country. And now it's the foundation for a rapidly growing economic sector right here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. This is what Virginia is becoming known for, thanks to VCU and Frank Gupton and Medicines for All. Another area of our work resulted in the VCU Wright Center for Clinical and Translational Research. Jerry Moeller, my other colleague, and his team won the prestigious National Institutes of Health CTSA Award, Clinical Translational Science Award. This is a grant that's really important because it's one of the largest and most impactful grants that NIH has ever put together, and it focuses on collaboration across all of the disciplines that you can find at your institution. We've supported a phenomenal faculty throughout VCU. I want to twist now over to our Humanities Research Center, which supports research in humanities fields across schools and colleges throughout the entire institution by providing grants and fellowships for faculty, an annual speaker series that promotes communication, as well as international and community-engaged research and partnerships, like something that you all have heard, On Native Ground, which is a really important initiative. I want to say thank you to the leadership of our director, Christina Stunshu, and her whole team for their work. And then there's Semi Ryu. Semi Ryu is a professor in the School of the Arts. She's doing kinetics, but she's also a medicine professor in internal medicine. This is someone who is bridging gaps through avatar and virtual reality, exploring facets of healing and empowering community. Sarah Spiegel, another of my colleagues, she's ranked among the top 100 women scientists in the United States and 148th throughout the world. Vanessa Shepard was honored as the American Cancer Society's Researcher of the Year last year. I just connected with her this morning and talked about where she's taking our great new School of Population Health. Then there's VCU Arts Qatar Professor Khalid Saud and fashion design student Noor Rashid Butt. They together created an abaya. This is something that's worn by women around the world, and what they've created is an abaya that allows for better absorption of vitamin D through the skin, something that's critical to human health. I'm looking over to my right at my colleague Bill Dewey, who came to VCU in 1972 and has been an incredibly trusted force throughout the nation and really throughout the world. He's built VCU's reputation as a leader in cross-discipline addiction research, a need that regrettably has grown. Then there's another of my colleagues, Arnethia Sutton, who's researching disparities in cancer treatment and outcomes for Black women, with a special focus on heart disease in breast cancer survivors, a really important emerging area of our research. Last year, Arnethia, you were just one of 25 cancer researchers across the country that got selected for an NCI Early Investigator Advancement Program, and I'm really proud of you. And thanks for being here today. And then there's Milos Manish. This is someone who has launched the Commonwealth Center for Advanced Computing and manages computing systems that tackle AI and cybersecurity problems. Really important in this country. And then my colleague, Fantasy Losada, right in the front here, addressing cultural and social factors that impact emotional well-being for young Black and brown people. And she leads something that's called the Shield Lab of graduate and undergraduate. I think it's really great that you're doing stuff with undergraduate students and doing traditional as well as community-based research. And that's where things are going, connecting what we do to our communities. And one of the things I love about you, because I've spent time with you, is I love your empathy. it just emerges in every conversation I've ever had with you. I'm so proud of you, Fantasy. Engineer Nabir Dar leads something called our Convergence Lab initiative that's funded by the Department of Defense and supported by both the Army and the Air Force. And this is something that focuses research into electro-optics, infrared, and radio frequency, as well as edge security technologies. Really important. This is what's bolstering national security. So yeah, I've taken the risk of talking about just a few examples of literally thousands of the ways that my faculty colleagues at VCU, throughout VCU, are making discoveries that advance what we can understand as human beings, because we're all human beings, to improve lives. All of our disciplines, the arts, humanities and sciences, all of our disciplines teach us vital things about what it means to be human in a really complex world that has a lot of history. And we don't understand a lot of that history, and we need to understand it. The more we understand the human condition and the connections that bind us all together, the better that we can work to solve problems that have got to be solved, and we can do it together. I'm so grateful for all of our faculty members in all of our areas. And I want to take, sure. And I also want to express specific gratitude to Sriram Rao and his team and all of our faculty and staff and student researchers across VCU for supporting our colleagues' work with the resources that they need to raise the impact of their work to the highest levels that we've ever seen in the history of VCU. And you know, you can't have a successful research program because so much of our research, much of it's done in our communities, but much of it is also happening here on campus. So much of our learning is occurring on campus. You can't have a successful university today, anyway, without the best facilities to work, research, and learn. And I want to say thank you as well to Vice President Meredith Weiss and your team, all your teams, I should say, for all of the great ways in which you support us with great facilities and human resources services. Meredith, thank you so much for agreeing to take on the interim role of both roles. In addition to recognizing faculty, I want to stop for a moment, slow down, and it gives me deep pleasure personally to express my deepest gratitude to our more than 20,000 staff members at VCU and VCU Health for the many ways that they support us day in and day out, every day. Our staff members, yeah, I've got more to say. You cannot applaud enough for our staff members. These are experienced professionals, and it's because of them and their dedication and their expertise that we can support our students, we can advance our research, we can get patients well, and we can engage with our communities. Everything that happens at VCU happens with the support and the leadership of our talented staff members. I will continue to take time to recognize our staff, and I ask each one of us to take the time individually to express gratitude to staff members in the coming days, weeks, months, years. Never stop. Never forget what they do for us. And thank you. And just as we anticipate and adapt to changing needs in higher education, I want to tell us we've also got to be flexible and adaptable in changing with the healthcare landscape as well, Dr. Levy. Post-pandemic, VCU Health was not immune to financial issues that faced all of the health systems out there in the country. But I got to tell you, VCU Health has seen a tremendous turnaround financially. In just the first 6 months of this fiscal year, in fact, income from operations has already exceeded the past 2 years' combined operating loss. That's really good. So Marlon and your team, thank you very, very much for everything that you have done to lead this turnaround. It's not always popular to do the things that you're doing, but you're doing the right things and supporting our people. Thank you very much. And you've bucked the national trends. You've absolutely bucked the national trends. Thank you very, very much. Really, really proud of you, Marlon. You know, as an academic medical center, our research means that we are doing more than just providing treatment. We're doing so much more. As we begin to adapt to the changing landscape that's out there, we'll think about how we can better serve patients in our communities. And we've got to think about how we're going to support our own people. That's really important. So making certain that we do what we do for our patients is critical. But remember, we do nothing for our patients without our teams who provide this care. So let's keep thinking about that. And let's keep thinking about how an academic medical center, our research provides treatment, but also hope in discovery, in inventing new ways of taking care of patients who don't have so much hope. You know, last year you might remember that VCU Massey Comprehensive Cancer Center won that comprehensive designation from the National Cancer Institute. It's a really big deal, right? It's a monumental achievement. This was a goal I set when I came to VCU, and it took a while, but we got there. But I have to tell you, the way I really see it now is it's just a beginning. How we use this comprehensive status to do more research and to improve our cancer treatment, but also to reduce cancer disparities and elevate prevention, that's what's going to matter the most. I'm deeply grateful to my colleague, Director Rob Wynn, for his wonderful leadership in moving us forward to the new level. And I also want to take a moment to say deep gratitude, express my deepest gratitude to the Massey Nation of volunteers, donors, and supporters who really helped us fuel the rocket ship to the top. Thank you. Many of you are in this room. And then you have to think about the treatment and the research that's done in our new children's tower of our children's hospital at VCU. It's helping to find really important cures for diseases. And I wanted to share one really awesome example with you. And that is our researchers who found developed a new gene therapy for sickle cell disease. It was recently approved by the FDA, and I want to tell you, there's a patient that we treated who is now absolutely cured of sickle cell disease. Not something very many places can say. And our transplant team performed another record, 577 transplants in 2023, 18th in the nation, and you should know our liver transplants are actually 5th in the nation. So thanks to our entire transplant team, our chair, Dave Bruno, but also, Marlon, I want to say thank you to you. That was the area you led, and everyone else who came before you who laid the foundation for this incredible success. But I got to tell you, while right now, transplantation saves lives, and I'm really proud of that, and we'll do it as long as we need to, as we look ahead, our next step is not to transplant more organs, it's to parallel these treatments with research and discovery that's going to take us to the place where we don't need to transplant organs because we've cured the disease that's connected to the organs that fail. The VCU Stravitz-Sanyal Liver Institute is a great example of where our revolutionary liver research is going to find alternatives to liver transplants. We'll also turn our attention to something else that's out there, cardiovascular disease. It's because it's the #1 killer, and it will continue to be until we can make more progress. VCU Pauley Heart Center is recruiting now more internationally recognized clinicians and scientists than ever. We're expanding access to cardiac rehabilitation services and training the next generation of providers and researchers. Whether it's in healthcare or in academia, The time to plan for the next generation is right now, especially if we want to save more lives. As for me, I will leverage my service as chair of the Health System Board to strengthen our experience inclusively for all patients who come to VCU for care, and the connection between research and patient care. When we're in our board meetings, we're going to talk more about research and patient care. That connection is critical. And one of the fastest growing needs is cardiovascular human health. We'll do all of this while we maintain our P1 prime bond rating for this health system. And I know we can count on our health system team to help make sure that this happens. Our Pauley Heart Center, by the way, had record-breaking fundraising last year. But this reminds me that I need to say thank you to our entire development team led by Jay Davenport. 2023 saw a record amount of charitable contributions all across VCU. This is what allows us to increase student scholarship support. As you know, that's been my top priority. In fact, in our 15 years together, we've increased financial support for students more than 200%. But that's because of what everybody's done. I'm very grateful to the Commonwealth, all of our governors, our legislators. They have been incredibly connected to the VCU mission. They understand it and they have supported it. I'm so grateful to our state partners. They have been wonderful. Doesn't matter what party they're in, they all get it. They all get what VCU does. They see it happening before their eyes. I'm also just incredibly indebted to all of our donors who have invested so generously in this vision. So let's just take a moment as we come closer to the end of this time together. Let's hear from one of our donors about what moved her to lend her support. And by the way, it was, I think, last week she just gave another like $1.5 million. Let's listen to Anna Lou.
We gave to VCU because I see firsthand what it does in our community and in our state, and hopefully beyond that. I also give to VCU because there's a joy that you get in giving and watching a school, a university that you've seen firsthand, in my case, for getting close to 70 years. And I wanted to be there and to be a part of everything they can become.
Well, obviously very inspiring. And so I'm going to pledge to invest even more of my time with our donors to raise more resources for our students and our faculty. There's a correlation. The more time we spend with people, the more people give. In so many ways, we're making just an incredibly important difference as a public university, confirming our commitment to our public. We asked some students what VCU has done specifically for them, and I have another video for you to share.
I appreciate that my identity is as respected as anybody else's identity in this like little safe space campus, sort of.
Not only do the nurses and the doctors, are they willing to teach you, but they're also willing to give you responsibility, and they're willing to let you try things. And the patients are really gracious as well.
Going back as an adult, as a 33-year-old, it has given me a completely new outlook on life and interacting with people around campus, whether it's professors or the Student Financial Aid Success Center or just other students.
Their hospital is a safety net hospital. You know, you really get to provide care to a group of people that, you know, might not get care otherwise, which is really fulfilling.
We had financial resources here that really encouraged my parents to say, let's pull the trigger, because we won't be going through this financial burden alone, because we had student aid, scholarships were one of the key things that helped me get through it.
So last year was a phenomenal year for VCU. I would say the best year yet in so many ways. So now we're going to take this enormous opportunity that we have to shape and define what a public research university can be for the future. Our role is critical. Together with you, I really look forward to leading and being a part of VCU's incredibly important next steps. Our future is best, we know, when we design it ourselves, driven by the people who need us the most. We have this dynamic mission as one of Virginia's major public research universities that really gives us a chance to help shape society, not just in Virginia, but beyond. Not just reacting to change, but driving and being a part of that change. So as we look to the future, really few institutions have the opportunity that we've got to just soar, shifting the mission of a public research university much closer to the needs of all of our people. Thanks to you, VCU is absolutely soaring, setting the pace of a top public research university anywhere. You're driving VCU's tremendous momentum, getting us closer and closer to people's needs, especially as they change and emerge. So it's clear, thanks to all of you, the state of VCU is very strong. What's next? We'll expand VCU's impact to extend and lift more people's lives, to harvest more potential, to include more people in this mission, and to connect us more with those who can support our students, our graduates, and our patients. This will strengthen our resources and our support for our teams. And so I challenge all of us to focus our time and energies to help to build on our successes. I sincerely thank every member of this community on our team as you consider what that looks like from your position at VCU, and look forward to working together to take VCU to its next level. Thank you for making VCU what it is, and thank you for positioning it for what it will become. You are VCU, you will always be VCU, and because of you, our future is even more powerful than it has ever been. Thank you so much.